What's up, everybody? Nate Cohen, Dustin here. Fantasy Smack Talk. It's baseball. It started. We're excited. We're pumped. In this video, we're going to go over guys you should be picking up off the waiver wire. We're going to be answering some of the forum questions. But the CEO, Dustin Barkley's got a trade tip for you.
I just like to point out this time of year that just really keep an eye out for the underperforming starting guys. As far as just getting off the slow starts. It's a long season. If you're looking at guys that have had 2, 3, 4 solid years in a row and they get off to a slow start, obviously more than likely they're going to turn things around. And if they're on a team, a fantasy team that gets off to a slow start, their owners might be willing to deal them a little cheap. So in about a week or two, definitely keep an eye out for those. But let's get into the must-adds for all leagues. Kendrick Morales is the guy I wanted to talk about. Only drafted in 65% of leagues. I was really shocked by that. New home out there in Seattle. He's only 29 years old.
Shocked.
He hasn't been around that long, but don't forget what he did in 2009. 34 home runs, over 100 RBIs. He did have that broken leg with his home run celebration, and he's hasn't been a huge factor in the fantasy world since then, but still huge home run potential. I don't see why people aren't taking a gamble on him.
All right, next guy that everybody should be taking a gamble on, that's Adam Eaton. I know what you're thinking. He's going to be out 6 weeks. He's on the DL. You crazy. Well, if you have a DL spot, then what you need to do is throw away whatever garbage you have at the end of your bench, drop them, pick up Eaton, throw him into your DL spot, and then pick somebody else up. In all of my leagues, my last pick in the draft was Eaton. Sneaky move. He's right in my DL, and I'm picking up other people. Adam Eaton is a guy that we loved coming in. A lot of upside for this young kid. Played great in spring training before he got hurt.
Huge upside with him. Next guy I want to talk about, another guy with huge upside, and that's Viciedo, the tank. I love this guy.
Dustin loves him.
Out there with the White Sox. Again, shocked, only owned in 50% of leagues. I really don't see what the issue is with why people don't want to take a gamble on him. I mean, he's a youngster with huge power potential. And he kind of reminds me of, I still call him Mike Stanton, but just how hard he hits the ball. I mean, he hits the ball, sometimes just line drives that just go right out of the park. He's fun to watch. I don't see why more people aren't taking a gamble on him.
All right, I'm going to be talking about a pitcher, and that's a Gondo. He's the pitcher for the Rangers. You probably heard about him after that Houston. He destroyed him, 10 Ks in a little over 6 innings. And, I know it's Houston, and a side note to this, if you can stream pitchers, it's clearly looking like pick up whatever pitchers playing Houston because they strike out a ton. But this is a guy that we have always liked. And to Dustin's point, Dustin loves guys that were relief pitchers and then starters. This is what he does. He throws the ball very, very hard. So this is a great guy to grab. He's going to get you a decent amount of Ks. We think his ERA might be all right this year.
What kind of accent was that?
I have no idea. That's a Dustin accent.
Next guy I want to talk about is Dustin Ackley. Not only does he have a good name, but
oh my God,
I do like his... It's a good joke. I do still like his upside. Only on 55% of leagues. He was a huge prospect, a few years ago, and now no one really seems to care about him anymore. He still has second base eligibility, he has first base eligibility as well, so you gotta like that. But again, only owning half the leagues. With a guy that has this much upside overall, he might not have shown it just yet. I think he needs to be owned in more leagues just to see if he can get there.
Hadouken! The next one's Ryu. Hadouken! Love this guy. We talked about him. He wasn't picked up. He's only owned in how many leagues,
55.
Dustin? 55% of leagues. Hadouken! And here's the thing, this guy had a terrible start to spring training. Then he started pitching really good at the end, so guys who were drafting later were picking him up a lot. Whenever the early drafts, nobody was grabbing him. So he faces his Giants in his first outing, he gets the loss. But here's the thing, he only gave up 1 earned run. He had 5 Ks, no walks. He's definitely a guy worth owning. There's a lot of upside here. He was great overseas. They paid a ton of money to get him. He could be pretty good. Everyone loves Yu Darvish. There's no reason not to love him too.
Next, we got another foreign pitcher, and that's Fujikawa for the Cubs. They brought him here to eventually take over as the closer, whether it's because Marmol sucks or it's because they trade Marmol. He's going to be their closer at some point, and with Marmol getting off to such a rocky start, probably going to be sooner rather than later. He's still only on about 55% of leagues right now. He played in the Korean League, and he played really well. He was one of the best pitchers, relief pitchers in that system, so he should translate quite well into the majors.
All right, let's start looking at some of those deeper leagues. And the first one I'm going to talk about is Jim Henderson. Here's the deal. John Axford's pretty terrible. He's not good anymore. So we're thinking Milwaukee, that's who Jim Henderson plays for, is going to end up, this is going to be one of the first switches that we foresee happening. There's a reason, coming into the year, we told you we didn't like Axford. A lot of people had him decently high. For some god known reason, we had him ranked in the 20th overall for a reason for relief pitchers. Grab Henderson if you need saves. This is going to be the next guy that's going to get a chance out there.
And before we get all those comments, I said Korean League. He was actually Japan League. Ryu was the Korean.
Hadouken!
So, before you post any comments, I know.
Haters.
It's alright.
Alright, Dustin.
Next guy I want to talk about is Tyler Flowers with the White Sox. If you're looking for a catcher, this is a youngster with an upside at the catcher position. Has a little bit of power potential. You know, you never really know, you know, if you're not really liking your catcher right now and you're looking for a second catcher that might be on the wire with an upside, that's why he's on this list, because he does have some potential.
All right, last deeper ad we're going to be talking about is Jose Valverde. Coke did not get the job done closing. They already put the Detroit Tigers have already signed him to a minor league deal. Apparently he's lost some weight too. We think it might just be a matter of time before he gets that closer role back. So if you waited on saves, didn't pick, and you're thinking you're just going to pick him up during the year, a guy like Henderson, a guy like Valverde are the guys to really be looking at that are going to be the next guy.
Fujikawa.
Or Fujikawa. All right, we got a form question from W. Hulin. He wants to know, and I'm sorry if I'm butchering that. I have no idea. Forum names are crazy. Wants to know, should he be giving up Beltre and Ruff and getting back Matt Carpenter and Ben Zobrist?
You know, this one I think is kind of close, but even though I don't really like Beltre that much as far as just being afraid that he might finally fall off the cliff with his age, but I think he's the best player in the trade. You know, Carpenter and Ruff, you know, Carpenter I'd probably put a little bit higher at this point, but not by much. And then Zobrist, you know, isn't so far away from Beltre, but I just don't think you do this trade. I think if you're going to trade Beltre, you ask for just a little bit more.
Side bonus, if anyone knows where Hadouken comes from, please post it below. Dustin, go ahead and give us a close.
That'll do it for our first baseball show. Got any questions? Post them in the forum. We might answer it on the show. And if you
need anything else, follow us on Twitter at Fantasy Advice. On Facebook, go ahead and like our page. Google Circle, we got all that going on. Name code for the CEO, Dustin. We out.